Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome all back to Dominant Mets Nation Offseason Central, episode 18. Well, folks, thank you for all the support. We got another great video today, and this video I've been looking forward to for the last couple of days. I'll tell you that. Honestly, the Juan Soto updates really they've been coming, trickling in the last couple of days. But what I heard from the Yankees owner the other days was chilling. It sent chills down my spine. I could not believe. If you're a Yankees fan, I gotta say, if you're watching this, you gotta stay tuned. If you're a Mets fan, stay tuned. MLB fan, stay tuned. I need your opinions. Drop comments because honestly, I I really feel right now a decision most likely is made. A decision in the mind of Juan Soto is made. Really, now they're talking about the fine details and the inner workings of the contract, maybe opt-outs, special incentives, stuff like that. Because I feel a decision has been made. Okay, so I'm going to give you the Juan Soto updates. I'm going to give you the players who are in the Juan Soto game currently as we speak. Then we're going to go talk about those Hal Steinbrenner chilling comments. And then at the end of the day, are the Mets the front runners? Are we the front runners? Okay. All right, here we go, folks. Here we go. If you haven't got a chance yet, smash the like button. It shows me that you like the content and you want more, okay? And if you're a Juan Soto fan, like that. Hit that like button. Also, if you are new, and thank you to all the new subscribers. We had a whole slew of new subscribers in the last month, especially. I thank you for giving this channel a chance. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I appreciate all your comments as well. A lot of great ones. Okay. So let's get going. So the Juan Soto latest update, we are approaching the Thanksgiving Day holiday, which is in about another week. Usually after the Thanksgiving Day holiday, a lot of things start really getting going. The players, you'll see a lot of player movement, but before then, things really seem stagnant. You don't see too many moves, although you do see David Stearns making moves. And honestly, folks, I believe that is very significant. We're going to get to that momentarily. Okay, but right now, who the hell is in the game? We know the New York Mets are in the game. The rumors of them offering that $660 million contract, you hear that. You hear Steve Cohen willing to go $50 million over the next highest bid for Juan Soto. You hear that. But who else do we hear? And we know, obviously, Steve Cohen has deep pockets. Then, obviously, we have the incumbent team. You have the New York Yankees, the team that gave up all that trade capital last year to acquire the man. And I'll tell you this. They went after Juan Soto, even though they say it was for 1 year. It was not for 1 year. You don't give up Drew Thorpe, Michael King, and the rest of the slew of prospects they did for one season. And you know what? They went all in. I give them credit. In my opinion, Yankee fans should be looking at Steve Cohen saying, thank you. You pushed my owner, Hal Steinbrenner. You pushed the New York Yankees to do things that before Cohen was there, they weren't doing. They were not being aggressive. And I've talked about this in past videos. Giving Judge $360 million. I don't know if they do that 5 years ago. Going after Carlos Rodon. I don't know if they do that. Making these aggressive trades for Jazz Chisholm and Juan Soto. The New York Yankees have clearly seen the pressure across town and have really put their best foot forward. But I would tell you what. New York fans, mark my word. 2025, this is the turning point in the city. Juan Soto is the key, folks. The Mets almost made the World Series without Juan Soto. The Yankees have not made the World Series since 2009. They needed Juan Soto to make the World Series, and they need Juan Soto to continue to get better. If they lose this man and he goes across town, I will tell you what, the tide will turn. The winning will go to Queens, the hot spot, and it already is turning the corner. Steve Cohen's doing a good job making that an attractive place for players to want to come, players to want to play. He is investing his own money to do so. But if the Yankees don't find a way to keep Juan Soto, and we're going to get into those Steinbrenner comments, because, oh my God, those were a doozy. Things will change. Things will change. And for Yankee fans, you got to remember, this is really, really important, because if the Yankees can sign Juan Soto in a couple of years, they got DJ LeMahieu money coming off the books. You have Giancarlo Stanton money coming off the books. So even though they're in a tight situation now, if Juan Soto could kind of like steady the boat for 2 or 3 years, they'll be in good shape. But the New York Mets, they're already in good shape. They already have no money on the books. If Juan Soto goes to the New York Mets, they could sign now. And that's what Juan Soto has been determining. He wants to see the young talent. He wants to see where the team is and how ready they are to win now. And, the Yankees and the Mets, they are in it. The LA Dodgers presumably had their meeting with Juan Soto. Are they going to be willing? They already have that mega contract on the books with Shohei Ohtani. Although it is heavily deferred, they have other guys, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They have some big money on that books. Are they willing to go $700 million to sign this man, Juan Soto? And would Juan Soto even want to go to the West Coast? Would Juan Soto even want to go to a team that is so heavily weighed in, talented players already? Does his legacy mean anything to him? Did he see what happened to Kevin Durant? Does he want to go the Kevin Durant route? I don't know. I tend not to think that way. So you got the Yankees, you got the Mets, the Red Sox. What I learned throughout this whole process is the Red Sox were his favorite team growing up. He grew up loving David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez. Those were his favorite players. This was his favorite team. But the Boston Red Sox, first of all, are they trustworthy? After winning a World Series, they trade away a guy who is a two-way player, Mookie Betts, at the same exact age, 26 years old. You trade him away to the Dodgers, and you essentially give up because you want to cut payroll. What happens in 5 years if the Red Sox want to do the same? Even though they are committing right now to saying, hey, we're going to go all in. Are they trustworthy? And right now, they aren't a winner. Do you want to invest a couple years to get them to where the Yankees and the Mets already are? So this is where I think the Red Sox have a lot of ifs. Now, even more ifs. Sorry. You have the Toronto Blue Jays. And Toronto has all the money in the world. Rogers Communication, the owners of the Toronto Blue Jays, they have the money for Soto. They went after Ohtani last year. But on the Soto list, and this is what you learn from the meetings with Juan Soto, he wants other factors. Number one, the commitment to winning. Is the team ready to win now and in the future? With the Toronto Blue Jays not having their stars locked up, the future is very questionable. Look at their farm system. What did they have there? Not much. If you look at many MLB or any type of prognosticators who rank their farm systems, they don't rank too highly. They usually rank 20, 21, 22, around there. So, they don't have their guys locked up. There's really no guarantee that they will be good in the future. So, yes, they can give you a whole slew of money. I don't see the Blue Jays. I really don't see the Blue Jays. I think the top, obviously top four contenders. You have the Mets, you have the Yankees. I think them two are at the top. Then maybe the Red Sox, Dodgers. I still don't see the Dodgers doing it. Okay, so those are the top 5 teams who have met with Juan Soto. Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Blue Jays. Okay, I'm making sure I don't miss anybody. Now, who else is potentially a suitor for Juan Soto? Well, John Heyman of the Post reported that Soto likes the Phillies. Though it's unclear if their scheduled meeting has taken place, the Phillies president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, does not like losing and has been willing to shake up the roster and spend money after they were embarrassed by the New York Mets in the NLDS. And to put salt in the wounds, if you are the Philadelphia Phillies, how would it look if you lost to the Mets and the Mets already were better than you and they go out and add Juan Soto on top of that? How would that look? How would that look? Now, the Phillies are in a situation where they have players locked up, like Trey Turner, Bryce Harper. They've made commitments into players already. Zach Wheeler, they just recently signed to a longer term contract. So would they have to make some trades to create more flexibility in their payroll? And that's the thing with a team like the Phillies. They already have contracts, almost similar to the Yankees. How flexible are the Phillies? How much willing are they to go above the luxury tax to, constantly improve their team? That's the situation with the Phillies. All right. Now you have other teams that could be interested. This is a West Coast team. You had the San Francisco Giants. Aaron Judge, he left the Giants at the altar a couple short years ago. The Giants also went after a guy like Carlos Correa. The Giants have been very aggressive in trying to get that big marquee free agent. Soto would be a huge splash for Buster Posey in his first year as president of baseball operation. But I think there is so much to overcome if you are the Giants. I think it is such a long, you would have to overpay by a mega amount. In California, taxes are higher than in New York. So, in New York, you got high taxes, but California, it's even more. And I don't know his willingness to go across the country. I'm not sure if it's there. And even if it was there, I believe it would go. He'd probably much more want to go with the Dodgers. And that's where it kind of stinks for, teams like the Giants. If players are willing to go over there, they much rather play for a team like the Dodgers. Okay, now we have two teams left. These two teams, I've seen one of the teams prevalently, but this team I haven't seen in a while. But in this list that I have here, it says the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs has given no indication that they are involved in the Soto sweepstakes, and that should sorely disappoint their fans. They spent the same percentage of their revenue on payroll as the Marlins and Mariners. Okay, so I'm not sure. Like, basically, this is a list of suitors, but they put the Cubs on it, saying that the Cubs aren't a suitor. Dumb. All right. So the last team, the Tampa Bay Rays. John Heyman reported a couple weeks ago that the Rays reached out to Soto's reps, which elicited immediate giggles from the baseball public. They shouldn't be considered a serious suitor, and with concern over the roof at Tropicana Field and their new ballpark maybe not working out, they have much bigger issues. So, I don't think it's silly. The Rays have always been able to do more with less. So I give them credit with that. I just don't think they're in any position to give out a mega contract to Juan Soto. All right, folks. So that is the landscape as we see it. Those are the teams involved. The last, I would say, the most serious teams are the Mets and the Yankees. And then that's tier one. Tier two would be the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays. That would be tier two. And tier three would be Phillies and the Giants. The Cubs and the Rays, I don't even consider them in any tiers. I don't consider them at all. All right, so that is your update. And now we're going to get into the juicy stuff and the stuff this is what I wanted to talk about for days. All right, so let's get into the Hal Steinbrenner situation, and we'll talk about the situation first. All right, folks, if you hadn't got a chance to like the video, please like. If you're a new watcher and you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. All right, so we're going to get into the Hal Steinbrenner part of this video. Our third part of the video coming up. We're going to talk about all the Mets front runners, and in that part of the video, we're going to talk about the moves that the Mets are making and how does that translate into the potential of signing Juan Soto. And we'll also look at some of the Yankees moves too that could be telling. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. All right, but first, let's talk about Mr. Hal Steinbrenner himself. Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner made a great pitch supposedly to megastar free agent Juan Soto, according to a friend. So whether they re-sign Soto and the Soto sweepstakes are wide open between a possible final 5 teams, maybe 6, the Yankees accomplished what they needed to at their high-powered get-together. All right. I mean, this is by John Heyman. They accomplished what they needed to with their meeting. That is yet to be determined. So now this is going to be very, very significant. And when I was doing my research, this part stands out. So listen, Soto previously formed very close relationships at previous stops with owners of the Nationals, Ted Lerner, and Padres, Pete Seidler. Rest in peace. And Soto's friend said he was hoping to form the same with Steinbrenner. Listen, that is so super important. Soto previously formed a close relationship at both of his stops with Nationals owner Ted Lerner and Padres owner Pete Seidler. All right, end of sentence. Soto's friend said he was hoping to do the same with Steinbrenner. It did not happen. Right off the bat, what jumped out at me is, wow, this guy had a willingness. He wanted to, in this year, in the beginning of the year, he was traded. He didn't want to be traded to the Yankees. He did not want to be traded. I repeat, but there was a big opportunity for the Yankees to do something special. They had him in the building. They had to know that he had a relationship with the Nationals owner and the Padres owner. They had to know. If they didn't know, the Yankees weren't doing their due diligence and they weren't putting their best foot forward, and that would be shameful. We know Steve Cohen will fly across the world for his players. He is always available. You always hear him talking, texting, inviting his players over for dinner. If Soto values that, Steve Cohen is in very good position. And shame on Hal Steinbrenner for not developing or cultivating that relationship. And him saying he doesn't know or didn't know, shame on the entire Yankees organization for not doing their due diligence. And if they do not sign Juan Soto, look yourselves in the mirror, because that is something that you didn't address and you didn't do. Okay, let's move on. I'm not a Yankee fan, but, bad business is bad business. Okay, so while it didn't happen during Soto's first season in the Bronx, Steinbrenner mainly using longtime stars Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole as clubhouse contacts. Steinbrenner nicely explained at Soto's California meeting that he didn't want to disrupt Juan Soto's routine, or words to that effect. Wow, folks. Wow. This almost sounds like Juan Soto confronted Hal Steinbrenner at their meeting, saying, why did we not have a relationship? Why? I mean, folks, this is mind-blowing that this is really coming out. And honestly, I've been listening to the radio. I've been, really doing all my research, and I've heard nobody talk about this specific, this meaning. I don't understand why people aren't really analyzing and making a big deal about this, especially the comments to come. There's a lot more to support this theory that Juan Soto was perturbed and not happy with Mr. Steinbrenner. If you really want me, why didn't you show it in the first year that I was in your building? And to boot, his communication went through stars Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. So he's talking to Garrett Cole and he's talking to Aaron Judge and forming a relationship with them, but not Juan Soto, the man you want to sign a 15-year partnership with? Odd. Yeah, Mr. Steinbrenner, I know the fans are giving you a hassle now, but this may be your own doing. All right, let's move on. While Juan Soto loved the Judge-led clubhouse, Soto is seeking a strong rapport with whatever owner he's partnering with for the next 15 seasons. Well, that would seem obvious. And word is he felt better about Steinbrenner and the Yankees after their meeting when MLB's marquee franchise also emphasized its edge over everyone in revenue, tradition, and brand. Wow, and even that commentary, and this is commentary by Jon Heyman, stating that he felt better about Steinbrenner and the Yankees after the meeting, like it almost makes it seem like the Yankees were in a very bad situation with Soto, confronting Steinbrenner about not having a relationship, and then the Yankees having to convince Soto that they have the most revenue, they have the best tradition, and the best brand. You would have think that this would have been a given over the last year. Like he would know those basic things. We have the best brand, the best tradition, the best revenue. That should be a given. All right. So GM Brian Cashman filled him in on their player development history, and they also mentioned how they even developed the Mets and Phillies managers, Carlos Mendoza and Rob Thompson. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Brian Cashman, for telling him how you developed the great Carlos Mendoza. I like that. I like that. Thank you, Brian Cashman. All right. All right, so this is also another interesting thing by Jon Heyman. He goes, the Yankees were smart not to cut down the rival Mets, but did mention how they spearheaded efforts to help the deep-pocketed Steve Cohen win the rival team. So, yeah, I mean, when Steve Cohen was trying to bid for ownership, obviously the Yankees gave a yay for the Steve Cohen to buy the team. All right, another clap hands, for Steve Cohen. So thank you again to the Yankees. I don't even know why they're talking so much about the Mets, but all right. Okay, so this is what Yankees people are saying and believe. So Yankees people believe Soto, like most free agents, will take the best deal, which is why the Mets with Cohen are probably best positioned out of everyone. And Steinbrenner, and we're going to get to more of his comments, but Steinbrenner publicly painted an accurate picture when he said he had no idea how this will turn out. It's a battle of 5 teams, 6 if the Phillies get in, and some don't expect the Yankees to be high bidders when the bids start coming in. Honestly, frankly, and we're getting into more comments by Hal, but him saying he has no idea is frankly, like I said, bone chilling and unacceptable. Yankee fans should be irate that the leader of your organization is exuding that type of confidence about a player you invested so highly in, giving all those prospects for, and trying to I mean, obviously, the relationship, you didn't cultivate a relationship with this man. You cultivated absolutely no relationship with Juan Soto in his first year with the Pinstripes. Thank you, Hal Steinbrenner, for basically walking him over to Queens. Thank you. I do thank you. All right, so let's go. John Heyman also interestingly puts one plus minus for the Mets, one plus minus for the Yankees. So pluses, he goes for the Mets. Cohen has more money than anyone and is just as motivated. They have $150 million coming off the books and are a team on the rise. Money, team on the. I mean, that's everything, including the city that Juan Soto's looking for. Negative, they're missing 60% of a rotation. Though Cohen and company surely told him they intend to fill those openings as well. Now, Yankees, pluses, they contend every year. Soto loved the clubhouse. They also led MLB in revenue. Minuses, while he enjoyed the bleacher creature roll call, some thinks he prefers things somewhat quieter. Steinbrenner is gung-ho over Soto, but they don't relish bidding wars. And that is something Steinbrenner does not like. And this is where kind of like the cockiness and arrogance of the Yankees come out. When they make an offer or a bid, first of all, the Aaron Judge bid that they made, the first one was like 7 years, $210 million. That was a slap in the face. A slap in the face. Imagine he signed that deal. He would have been making $29 million a year up until he's almost 38, 39. So it would have been his last deal. It would have been, they always want their players to take these value contracts. They want them to leave hundreds of million dollars on the table. Aaron Judge could have made close to $500 million. Could have. If he took this to the open market, which, he kind of did, but if he made the Yankees actually bid his true value, he could have been asking for more than Mike Trout. I mean, he just was coming off a 60 home run, a 62 home run season. He could have asked for the sky, the moon, the stars, and everything. He didn't. Steinbrenner basically said, what is it going to take for you to come back? And Aaron Judge, in a mild manner way, said $360 million or his representatives. But, this is not that case. This is not Aaron Judge. This is Juan Soto. Okay, so let's get into the direct comments that Hal Steinbrenner said. Now, Hal Steinbrenner basically stated he knows how bad fans want Juan Soto. And he, in quotes, says, I know what's expected of me. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, honestly, you can know what it means, but doesn't mean he's actually going to do it. Fans expect you, the Yankees, to write the biggest check no matter what. No matter what. But you know what? Do the Yankees, are the Yankees in a position to do that? See, there's many different layers to this, and that's where I go back to where the Mets are best positioned. It's not just about the Mets. Oh, they're willing to go for the luxury tax. The Mets giving Juan Soto $60 million wouldn't be close to the luxury tax. If the Yankees give Juan Soto $60 million, they're at the luxury tax. If they give him $50 million, they're at the luxury tax. So the Yankees aren't in a good position right now. Okay, so he continues to go. Steinbrenner goes, I've got ears. I know what's expected of me. A little bit, of arrogant there. So what's expected of Steinbrenner is that he leverages the Yankees' incumbency advantage and the deepest coffers in the sport to bring back the generational hitter. Unless Soto signs a lesser offer elsewhere, an unthinkable turn of events, then the failure will be Steinbrenner's if he's not a Yankee for the next decade plus. Steinbrenner continued to say, we had a very good meeting. It was honest. It lasted a couple of hours. How confident was Hal Steinbrenner that the Yanks will sign Soto? Hal Steinbrenner commented, "No idea. Will be in the mix. No idea. Will be in the mix." Chilling, chilling comments from the so called owner of the highest revenue franchise, the elite. What do they have? 27, 28 championships? That is that is extremely unacceptable statement. No confidence right there. No confidence. No confidence. And I wonder why. Maybe a little guilt. Now, is Hal Steinbrenner lowering the stakes? Would losing Juan Soto to the Mets hurt more than other players? Hal Steinbrenner said, no. As I said, we're going to be in the mix for Soto. If it doesn't work out, it's going to hurt a little bit, no matter where he goes. No matter where he goes. So, really downplaying the fact if he goes to the New York Mets, it will be a dagger in the heart. It will be a dagger in the heart. That is the last place that he would want Juan Soto to land up. The last place. I mean, obviously you got the Red Sox, you have the Blue Jays, both teams in the division, but having him in the same city for 15 years, that would, and that's where we started our video saying this is the turning point. This could be the turning point. Now we're gonna go over some damning comments that came out of the meeting. Damning comments. So Steinbrenner, like I mentioned before, he said it was a very honest back and forth dialogue. Steinbrenner said of the MLB's owners meeting, "I think he learned about our organization, spending a year here, obviously, and I think he enjoyed his time here." Steinbrenner went on to say it was a good meeting. Like we said before, it lasted a few hours. He also added that Soto asked about the Yankees' development system, a facet of the franchise he didn't get to know after being acquired from the Padres last December. Steinbrenner also said that if Soto returns, he'd like the two of them to enjoy a close relationship, something the owner has with the Yankees' two biggest stars. So, Steinbrenner goes on to say, "We didn't know each other well last season. I was told that he was someone when he's in the clubhouse, he's in a zone like no other. And with players like that, I just don't like interpreting or interrupting the process and pulling somebody aside, dragging him into Boone's office to have conversation. That is very conflicting." So basically, his intel told him he's a player that's in the zone, but his intel should have also told him that he likes to have relationships with owners. He had a relationship, as we mentioned, with Ted Lerner of the Nationals and with Pete Seidler of the Padres. So bad intel there. And don't tell me there was no opportunities to interrupt or to talk with Soto. He wasn't always working. There were plenty of opportunities if he created them. So Hal continues, but we did talk about that in California. And should he be back next year? And, what continue this negatively? Should he be back next year? I made it clear that that kind of a relationship I would like is the kind of relationship I have with Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge. So the message was conveyed, and it really sounds like this was a confrontation, like it was dressing down of Hal Steinbrenner. And then beyond that, Steinbrenner didn't reveal much about the Yankees Soto summit. Well, I have tons of quotes here from Hal, tons of quotes. I don't want to go into that. I want to go over my final analysis, but I will say one more thing. They asked him about his relationship with Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, and this is a quote from Mr. Hal Steinbrenner about Steve Cohen. He goes, "My relationship with Steve is good, but any given owner is going to do what any given owner does, depending on how important they think the player is to their franchise." And then Steinbrenner said, adding that he hasn't spoke to Cohen about Soto. If it doesn't work out, it's going to hurt a little, no matter where he goes. I mean, obviously, that would be collusion if he starts owners start talking about respective players. And then, at the end of the day, how Steinbrenner kept saying that he believes Juan Soto had a good time with the Yankees. Okay, so based on the inside information, based on the stuff that we've learned about Soto, kind of confronting Hal Steinbrenner about their lack of relationship, and also about Soto's friend expressing that, the beginning of Soto's tenure with the Yankees was rough. He wasn't happy. Also, Soto's friend backing up Soto, saying, yeah, he had a great relationship with the other owners, but not with Hal Steinbrenner. So this is falling clearly on Hal Steinbrenner. So if Hal Steinbrenner was ever looking for Mr. Juan Soto to take a discount, you better think twice. You better think twice. And Juan Soto is an extremely savvy man. You're not going to somehow elicit some sort of emotion. Oh yeah, you had a good time in the clubhouse, and then you gave him none of your attention last year. So he knows the only reason why you're giving him attention now is because you want something. Juan Soto knows that. So if you want to pay up more than Steve Cohen in a big way, that's the only way you're getting Mr. Juan Soto. But Steve Cohen, I don't think is going to let it happen. I don't think it's going to let us happen. And that's where we come down to our last part of the video. And folks, if you've been listening this whole time, thank you so much. Hit that like button. Tells me you like the video. Makes us produce more videos. And if you're a new subscriber, and we have many of those, appreciate each and every one of you. Subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. So, are the New York Mets frontrunners? Well, based on what we've learned from the updates, based on what we've learned from um what Juan Soto wants, and we know Juan Soto wants money, right? Then we learned from the process that Juan Soto wanted to know a team's commitment to winning, right? Then he wanted to know about the team's player development, farm system. That was number three. Then he wanted to know about the facilities, the stadium, the technology. Okay, so those were a very important thing. But as the meetings progressed, when the Yankees got their chance, then we learned another thing that he wants. He wants to have a partnership, a relationship with the owners. So if we put all of those factors together, money, commitment to winning, facilities, technology, player development, you got David Stern, and partnering with the owners, it looks like there is no other team than the New York Mets that check off each and every one of those boxes. Steve Cohen has been notorious for having a close and personal relationship with all of his players. Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, always texting back and forth, going over to his house. Steve and Alex Cohen has done a great job cultivating that relationship, and Steve Cohen being in the type of business he's in. And folks, this is also a very other important factor. Hal Steinbrenner is a man, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but George Steinbrenner was the owner, right? He was the boss. He was the man who made the Yankees. He was the guy who took that brand to the next level. Hal Steinbrenner, I don't know the intricacies of what he's done with the brand in the last 15 years, but it was essentially all built by George and, previous ownership. So he inherited that. Steve Cohen is a man who built everything from scratch. He is a man who knows how important relationships are. He is a man who knows how to get things done, right? He didn't inherit anything. There's a big difference between the two men. And I'm not trying to take anything away from him. It's just is what it is. It is what it is. Steve Cohen's kids are going to have the same trouble. Sophia Cohen inherits the Mets. It's going to be a little different than if Steve Cohen owned the team. Not bad, just different. Okay. So the Mets, that's where I see them having an additional advantage. Now, if you look at how the Mets have acted in this free agency, and more specifically, since their meeting, right? So let's look at the Yankees, how the Yankees have acted. I mean, I believe the Yankees, I don't think they've made a transaction since the ninth. They've made very little transaction, the New York Yankees, right? And obviously, they don't have flexibility, right? Everything's hinging on if Juan Soto signs, which is not good. Not good. The Mets right now are more flexible. They're showing how agile they are. They're showing how aggressive they are. They're showing how flexible they are. I mean, they've acquired multiple players who are going to be on the roster for essentially nil. Jose Siri, great. $2 million Gold Glove caliber center fielder. Phenomenal under the radar move. And I love these low risk moves and highlight low risk moves. Low risk moves. $2 million. You have him signed for 3 years. We gave to Eric Orzo. And the guy, he could have 300 at bats this year. He could have 300 at bats. That's a significant amount of playing time. He's going to be playing in very important innings. And then Joey Meneses, the very savvy pickup, 32-year-old DH / first baseman of the Nationals. He's put up decent numbers. Nothing special, but I could see Joey Meneses getting at bats throughout the year. I could see Jose Siri having at bats. The pitcher they signed, Justin Hangerman, I'm probably butchering that, but he's a 27-year-old pitcher. Since 2022, he's tweaked his repertoire and, he's been a lot more decent of a pitcher. He's a guy that I could see eating up a few innings as well. The Mets have acquired other guys like Rafael Ortega and a slew of other pitchers. They have been wheeling and dealing, especially since meeting with Mr. Juan Soto, showing Juan Soto, we are the real deal. We will continue to get better and better. Since the Juan Soto meetings, what has Brian Cashman done to show Soto the commitment to winning? Nothing. There hasn't been a transaction, and I might have got this wrong. I might have missed something. But I believe Brandon Liebrant was the only guy that they got. They agreed to a contract on the 9th. He's a guy who has, I believe, 15 career innings at age 32. Probably not going to be in the majors. And then another guy that they got from, I believe, the Astros, Taylor Trammell, another guy probably not going to see the major leagues. So the Mets acquired multiple players that can and probably will impact the major league roster, whereas the Yankees have done zippo. It shows you a few things. Like I mentioned, it shows you the aggressive nature of the Mets. It shows their continued willingness to get better, even if it's incrementally. They are a very aggressive team, and they are always going to try to improve, even if it's by margins. Can the Yankees do that? I mean, I don't think I don't think Brian Cashman is the genius that David Stearns is. Maybe 20 years ago, you could say, yeah, he was the David Stearns of that generation. But times have changed, right? When Brian Cashman, when their analytics was ahead of everybody else, that was 2 decades ago. Now there's new analytics, advanced analytics that David Stearns and other GMs are proficient at that Cashman is not. So the Mets, they have their owner, the mega, ultra aggressive, ultra passionate, billionaire owner, Steve Cohen, who will do anything to win. They have their genius, David Stearns, in the front office. They have an up-and-coming, talented team. They're in a big city. They have everything Juan Soto needs and wants. So we're gonna end it here. I gotta head to work. Damn, this video went a little longer than I thought, but it was very important. And if you didn't get a chance to like, please subscribe. I thank each and every one of you. Have yourself a great day, and let's go Mets.